So this week's spotlight comes from Linkin Park. Is the new album From Zero. It's the 8th studio album from the new metal legends. It's their first album since 2017's One More Light, which means this is also the first album since Chester Bennington's passing. The lineup is Mike Shinoda on vocals and a bunch of other stuff, joined by Emily Armstrong on vocals to form the new duo. Brad Dielson is on guitar, Dave Phoenix on bass, and Joe Hahn on turntables and samples. Colin Britton joins on drums. He formerly was a producer, did stuff with Papa Roach and whatnot. I don't think he's ever really done drums touring prior to this. It's 11 songs, just 32 minutes. The opening track is From Zero. It's the intro. It's a weird little thing where you just hear Emily asking what the name From Zero means before it clicks into the first real track, which is The Emptiness Machine, also the first single on the album. I said it from day one, this was the perfect way to introduce Emily into the band because it starts off with Mike's verse before Emily belts out a huge chorus. It's catchy, it's energetic, it's Linkin Park. It was a perfect way to come back.
Oh, yeah. And I'll forever think of that live performance when I hear this song. Like, 'cause I picture it while I'm listening. It's perfect. Like you said, it's got enough of the old school Linkin Park vibes for the old fans, but it plays really well into Emily's vocal style. And it's a good introduction.
Yeah, it gave me goosebumps from the first performance. It instantly made me want to hear more. So, great way to open the album. Next song is Cut the Bridge. This one took a couple listens for me to click. It's got that kind of choppy, clapping feeling to it. Big, clean chorus from Emily. Not a bad track.
Yeah, so this one was interesting to me because I felt like it has some elements from One More Light, which I completely expected them to abandon anything to do with that sound.
Yeah.
When they made this album, but it actually works here. The one thing that I would say about this particular song, though, is it really highlights that Mike Shinoda is not a good singer.
He should probably stick to the raps.
Yeah, he's basically just kind of talk singing like Fred Durst does. It's not bad. It's fine for what it is, but it's just from a traditional sense, the dude can't sing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Followed up by Heavy as the Crown. It's the second single, features a massive 16-second scream that Chester would be proud of. This track has such early Linkin Park vibes. So we just had like One More Light vibe on the last track, and then we go earlier here. They touch all over all kinds of Linkin Park sounds throughout the album.
Yeah, this one's an absolute banger. Sounds like it came straight off of Meteora. Yeah. This is one of the best choruses on the entire album. And this is the most that they've sounded like their old selves since way before Chester passed away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of people forget that. Linkin Park, people hated on Linkin Park for years because of how they changed their sound.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Over Each Other is the next track. It's more of a ballad, diving into the lyrics. It's relatable to a relationship struggling and coming to an end. Emily is the sole vocalist here. No Mike Shinoda at all.
Yeah, so I really didn't like this one the first time I heard it, but it definitely grew on me. It is essentially a pop song, but it's done really well, and it definitely is a great chance for Emily to stand out and show what she can bring to the table, because it's different.
Yep.
You know, a solo Chester song didn't sound like this. This is different.
And then taking another, quick left turn here, we get Casualty. Get your screamy pants on. This is completely opposite from the last track. It gets more raw and distorted. There's angsty two-step and fun. I dig that raspiness in her voice.
Yeah, I would say this, to me, is the heaviest song that Linkin Park's ever made. This shit smashes faces.
It's up there for sure.
It's got like some Helmet orange 9mm vibes on the verses, and then it goes hardcore punk on the chorus. This is the style where Mike actually really shines. Emily sounds absolutely fucking brutal, and she still enunciates every word, which was very much Chester's specialty.
Yep.
Dude could scream, and you always understood every single thing that he said, and Emily can do that.
Yep. Overflow follows. This one rides much more in the lane of the later Linkin Park. It's atmospheric, electronic, beat-driven. This is kind of the One More Light vibe.
Yeah, so I really like the kind of like dirty reggae vibe that they have in the beginning of this. And I actually think it would have really benefited from a guest vocalist. I could hear someone like AJ Channer from Fire from the Gods on this, and they could have really played with and like kind of developed that reggae sound a little bit more, because I think this track could have been more interesting, but it is a solid song. It's just I heard something there that they didn't do anything with. It went a different direction.
Yeah, they could have done more with it.
Yeah.
Two-Faced is next. If you hear this song and don't immediately get classic Linkin Park vibes, you're probably just hating at this point. This would fit right in on Hybrid Theory or Meteora. Mike has the rapping verses. Emily comes in with the raspy aggression. The bridge takes off. I love this one.
Yeah, 17-year-old me was so happy for this. This was the song I've been waiting for from Linkin Park. And 100%, every time I hear it, I just imagine her and Chester screaming back and forth at each other. Shut up when I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop yelling at me.
Yep.
And someone needs to splice those two songs together and make that happen if it hasn't already, because I want to hear
Really
it.
cool. Yeah. Stained is next, not the band, but this is a more ballad type. It's got a catchy chorus. It's a lower point on the album, but it's still not a bad track.
Yeah, this is by far my least favorite track on the album. It sounds like a Katy Perry song with Justin Bieber doing guest vocals. The song is fine, but this is not a Linkin Park song. This is just a weird random pop song that got thrown into the middle of this thing. It's not my cup of tea at all.
All right, next track is IGYEIH, which stands for I Gave You Everything I Had. And she's really pissed off here. One that stood out right away for me, another raw emotional vocal delivery from Emily. A track about being fed up, giving everything you've got and not being enough. Those continuous final screams of "from now on, I don't need you" to close out the track come from a deep place of pain. I also like how the very last line becomes "from now on." The very last line becomes "from now on, amnesia," which officially is putting the past to rest, essentially.
Yeah, and I never noticed that till you pointed it out. So that's cool. Yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks for sure. I mean, that one goes hard. It's got a super strong chorus. Great fucking track.
Yeah. And they close it out with Good Things Go. This is for anyone who struggles inside their own head. When a broken person finally gets into a good situation, but the demons inside keep self-sabotaging everything, making you say things you don't really mean. Coming from a female voice, this one cut kind of deep for me and really hit home. I'll kind of leave it at that. It's a great way to close out the album. That's the sleeper that I think will end up being a staple from this era of Linkin Park.
Interesting. Yeah, this is another one to me that I think they really pulled in some of that One More Light style, but it made for a really good closer. So I think I like what they did was they took a lot of elements from different albums, but they took the best parts and incorporated them into this album, which is kind of a journey through like the entire discography. When you think about it, there's a little bit of everything kind of thrown in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a lot of the highlights for me. So I think they found what worked and they got rid of the stuff that didn't, and they made a really strong album here. I'm not as familiar with Linkin Park's catalog probably as you are. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but there's some of their albums for me, I never could really make it all the way through. They just didn't work. To me, this is the best album they made since Meteora. I give this one a 5 out of 6. It could have easily been a 6, but they put that weird Katy Perry song on here. Stained. Yeah. That one killed it for me a little bit. It took me out of the experience, but I've seen other people praise the song and say it's really good. So, you know, we all have our own taste.
Yep.
But it's really solid return from Linkin Park. Been on steady rotation for me since it came out.
Yeah, definitely. This album gets better and better for me the more I've listened to it. It's a perfect blend of the old and new. It is the most Linkin Park album since 2007's Minutes to Midnight for me. Emily is not Chester. That's fine. Linkin Park's always been driven by lyrics for me, deep lyrics that speak to me on an emotional level that no other band has been able to consistently do. And here we have a completely new vocalist continuing that feeling. It is the spirit of Linkin Park, and that's what matters most for me. It feels like everything Linkin Park has always been about. It's just a new era. And if you were ever a fan, you're missing out if you choose to be a closed-minded hater about this. From Zero is a triumphant return and a damn near perfect 5.5 out of 6. I think the only thing that pulled it back was Stained as well. Not that it's a bad song. It's just, they probably could have just cut it out and the album would have been fine without it. But
also, this is just my opinion, and I do not speak for the Two Metal for this podcast. But if you're not listening to this album because of something to do with religion, then you are an idiot. Mm-hmm. Because there's plenty of people and plenty of bands that probably have religious views that you don't agree with, but you don't even know about it, so it doesn't bother you.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with the music. We don't need to be worried about every detail of somebody's personal life. don't deprive yourself of a good listening experience because of something like that.
Exactly.
Again, that's just me.
I endorse that statement too. So
All right,
go
we
check
go.
out Linkin Park's From Zero.